everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Alphawisdom. I'm Mystic Cassandra. Okay, today we are doing an analysis of a man's hand, and I selected this one. I was lucky to find it because it covers many of the things we've been talking about, and it's a wonderful thing when you can look at a photo to see the things we've just talked about and actually get a good look at how it appears on a person's palm. I'll keep searching for photos, and when I find something like this, I'll go with it. Now this will take a little time, so I'll try to move as quickly as I can. Let's get started. Okay, so you don't get lost, as with all of the photos we'll be doing from now on. I will number them. Okay. Now, if you look over the side of the hand where the little finger is, it starts with 1, where it says Simian Line, and then we go to 2, where we talk about the headline branch. Number 3, Mercury Line. Number 4, Fate Line, which stretches across to another fate line inside the lifeline. And then number 5 starts deep in the lunar mount, still talking about the fate line. All right, then we go to number 6. These are stress lines. I don't know if you could see them, but they're horizontal lines. Okay, number 7, there are 3 influence lines. Number 8, family ring. That's just below the thumb before we get into the thumb ball. All right, there's number 9. We talk about the thumb. Number 10, that's a Mars line. Sometimes it's called the warrior sword. And look at 11. That's a gap between the headline and the heart line. Okay? Going on to the next one, number 12. That's a large island on that line, on that heart line. And there is another little line, couple of them up there. They're floating. That's heart line. Number 14. Look at the long index finger. And then there's a gap between the index finger, middle finger, another gap between the middle and the ring, and another gap between the ring and the little finger. Number 15, that's a long middle finger. And number 16, fingertips. That's a conic one, and there's a square in there, a couple of squares, but we never really talked about the conic. Okay, with that said, let's go on. Starting with number 1. We've talked about the Simian line. That is a Simian line. That is the joining of the head line and the heart line. And the line runs straight across the palm. All right? So we're clear on that. It's just the joining of 2. And depending on how low it is in the palm or how high it is in the palm, that determines which one, heart or headline, takes a dominating role. All right, so let's go on to number 2. That's a headline there. It's not connected to it, but it's like a branch coming from. This means that even though you have that combining of the 2 lines, the headline, this other one, is like an alternate way of thinking. It's like a different attitude, or think it could be interest in something else totally different. Okay, 3, that's a Mercury line. It's not attached to the lifeline, meaning there are no health problems, but there is a little concern there for the health whenever there is a health line. Also, if the line is very firm, well defined, that shows intelligence and clarity. And I saw 2 of them here. And I think it's more concerned with health, and health doesn't mean something is wrong with you, but always maybe it's eating the right food, getting enough rest, or watching things to eliminate any possibility of a problem. All right, going on to the fate line. The fate line starts deep into the lunar area. Now that means that whatever the person is interested in, there is some mystery in it. It could be something connected with creativity, imagination, or certainly intuition there. Okay? And that goes up It doesn't go all the way up, but it certainly goes up to close to where that uh, branch of the headline is, okay? Also, with this spade line, you'll notice it leaps over to another fate line that starts inside the lifeline. So there's a connection with the family. There's great support there. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so that takes care of number 5. Going on to number 6, they're horizontal lines. They're very fine, so they'll never be well defined. But that means there's a little stress in his life, a little stress there. Okay, that's common. Now going on to number 7, these are influence lines. We've talked about these. And whenever they're inside the lifeline, it has to do with family. Someone or someone's, because there are 3 of them here, that would influence mother, father, and maybe a sibling or a close relative. They do have influence on him. All right, there's something we haven't talked about much. That's number 8. Family ring, close to the family. It also can indicate having your own business. Yes, especially if there are marks in there. Could be like an X, the sign of an X there, or cross. Okay, and going on to the finger. We talked about fingers in the last video. This is another example of a type we call stiff. That means he's very fixed in his ideas, and it's a strong section. That upper section, that upper flange is long. So he is very action oriented when it comes to getting a move on things. Going on to the next one, that would be number 10. That is a Mars line, and I think you can see that. Mars line is that little section there, and this side of the palm is where Mars shows aggression or anger. So when that sticks out, that means he's very forceful in things he does, and it's a possibility he has a little temper, okay? There is this big gap. That's a wide gap between the headline and the heart line. So we know what that means. That means independence from the thinking of the family. He has a mind of his own, and it started even from a child, a very young age. It's almost as though, as I've said before, he comes into the world with that feeling of just wanting to make up his own mind, be in charge. Okay, all right. Then we go on, and people that do that usually branch out, and they do very well because they're willing to take a risk. All right, let's go on to the next one. There are floating heart lines there. Heart lines. And you can just barely see them, but it's a faint line coming from between the index and the middle fingers. And also on that head and heart joined line, there are 2 large islands, and they start early. I'd say it looks like it's in the late, or I'd say very early 20s until the mid 20s when the island stops. So it's some error there, some issue with energy. Everything is energy. Energy mentally part could be, or emotional, and it's combined together. So it's not a comfortable thing, but it doesn't last. Okay, let's go on to number 14, long index finger, and that is the right hand index finger. When it is long, indicates a serious attitude to one's profession. Okay? So this is the person that takes the lead whenever we have a long index finger. This is the leader, has to be in charge. This is the one they contact when there is an issue with an emergency. They know who to call on. Going on, I told you about the gaps there, independence there. Let's look at this next one, the middle finger. Okay, The middle finger, when it is long, it means a strong sense of needing to control situations and people. It reveals a perfectionist who is terrified of failure or just can't handle that. So I would hope that he has been very successful because he has, looks like he has a mindset for that. And let's go on to the last one, Conic Fingers. So when we have conic, it's usually found on female hands, but it's found also on male hands. This is not this is fairly common, so it's not really rare. Okay. It shows conic qualities tending more to square or spatulate. They show the artistic, impulsive, quick, intuitive person, one to whom the beautiful and harmonious in all things appeals most strongly, and who is very impressionable. He has a great smile, and he has that long little finger, which means he can express himself comfortably. All right, now we finish up by looking at the bottom. This is a water hand and a plain palm. So when we have a water hand, we haven't seen one before. The water palm has a highly flexible, adaptable approach to life. They are deep, dramatic souls drawn to anything related to mystery, dreams, imagination, and escapism. So this is a hand with a rectangular palm that's usually narrower and narrow palm with long fingers. So his fingers, I did the measurement. It's fairly close in numbers, but the fingers do stand out. And we haven't seen an example of this before. So, apologize if I ran too long, but there was a lot to say. All right, if you like this, please give a thumbs up, share, and of course, subscribe. Thank you so much for sticking with the channel, and take care of yourself, be happy, and bye.